Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the Structure Talk podcast. Tessa, wonderful to see you today. How is every little thing in your world?
Hey, Reuben. I am doing well. It's good to see your face too. Things are going well. I'm in the middle of a move right now, so it's a little chaotic. Running back and forth between the old place and the new place and trying to move things. So next week I will be recording from a different location.
Oh,
Um, but yeah. I see your face, Reuben, and I hear your voice. How are you doing? You sound like you're not doing so hot.
yeah, I got the glassy looking eyes. I've got a cold. I'm just miserable right now. I was telling I've been sneezing all day. So if I like mid sentence I got to stop talking, I'll try to jump off the camera. I've been sneezing just nonstop. I don't know what it is. It's not possibly allergies. We've talked on the show about how my HRV/ERV, I think that was causing problems. Tessa, I'm such a slacker.
Yes.
I haven't done anything about it. I didn't want to cut into my ceiling. I've just been putting off. Nate, oh, hold on. See, I can't even think straight. Okay. We need to bring our
It's all
guest
just
on.
due to bed.
We have a guest. We
Yes.
have Nate Mielke with Skapar. I'm saying it right?
Yes.
Skapar
Yep.
Design Build. Nate is a general contractor, remodeler that I have known for a long time, given his name out to a lot of people. We have been in a network group together for. When did you join the group, Nate?
I think it was like the month before COVID shutdown. So I think it was like February, like right before that. So then we went right to Zoom after that. It was great for the first year.
Oh,
My
what a
attendance was
miserable
perfect.
time to join.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And for the listeners, this is not a BNI chapter, BNI group. I've done my share of it. Nothing against BNI, but I've never joined a BNI group, and I've never cared for BNI exactly. And I'll keep my reasons to myself. But it's like a BNI group where
Much better.
we meet with a bunch of professionals, and these are professionals. There's no home-based businesses selling Melaleuca and candles and things like that. It's a lot of professionals who meet together, but we get to really know each other, and it's been fantastic getting to know so many different people over the last 21 years. I've been in that group, Nate. Long time, man.
Wow.
Long time.
Wow.
So Nate's I mean, he's been in there for like what, 5-6 years. He's still a noob as far as I'm concerned. No,
I still feel new. I still feel new.
But Nate, you'll appreciate this. I'm just going into story time. I got a HRV in my basement, and I swear it's making me sick because I'm almost positive that the intake duct is disconnected in the floor space between my basement and first floor, because there's this gigantic cold spot on my floor, and I've traced it down. I'm positive that's it. And I'm sure every time my HRV turns on, it's sucking all of the dust and dirt within my ceiling space and distributing that throughout the rest of the house. And I talked about this last year on the podcast. I said I'm going to cut that open. I'm going to deal with it. But then I just turned off my HRV, and the weather got nice, and I never dealt with it again. And I never really thought much about it. I mean, it crossed my mind here and there, but now all of a sudden it's cold, and I need to turn my HRV back on, and I don't want to do it because I thought I'm going to get all these allergy symptoms or whatever, because I am allergic to dust mites. I know that. I've been tested. But now here I've got a cold, and I haven't even turned on my HRV, so I should just go for broke and turn on anyway, because it's cold here in Minnesota right now. I mean, we went from, I mean, it was nice out. I was out maybe in shorts 2 weeks ago, and now today it's a high of 0 or something, and we've got 7 inches of snow on the ground, and it feels like we just went bam right into dead of winter.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I've got condensation on all my windows, and I'm looking around going, my HRV should really be running right now. I need to fix this. And I'm only sharing this with Nate because I know he understands building science, and he gets it.
The humidity level is wrong in your house right now, Reuben.
It is. It's too high, Nate.
It is.
It's too high. So wait, Nate,
You're
you're telling me?
sneezing too much, Reuben.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
sneezing too much
yeah. Every time I
moisture.
sneeze, the humidity level goes up just a little. Yeah. All right. So Nate, I want to talk all about you and your business, but before we do that, just a couple of small housekeeping things to get into. Number one, email from one of our listeners. This is from Andy Nash. He has emailed into us in the past, and he says he's hooked on the YouTube channel. He loves learning about houses, and he was saying that he wrote into us a while ago. He was thinking about getting a new roof, and he was thinking this might help with his insurance premiums, and we kind of went back and forth about that. He said he got his roof done in July, and the insurance company wouldn't update his policy until it renewed, but then his broker ended up getting him some new quotes, and he got some new insurance, and he's saving $1,500 a year having a new roof and going with someone else for the exact same thing. So he was very excited to have a new roof and be able to shop for new insurance policies with this. Huge savings. So thank you, Andy, for sharing your personal story. So often we talk about all these different things, and it's like, does anybody listen? Does anybody care? I mean, we never know. So we love the feedback. Thank you for writing in, Andy. And then the other thing I wanted to share is a shout out to our sponsors, IEB, Inspector Empire Builder. It's a business building group for home inspectors. We've been members since pre-COVID, just a little pre-COVID, and gotten so much value out of it. What we're talking about right now is the IEB Unite conference. It's the big conference that Unite has every year. Is happening March 4th through the 6th, and they are offering early bird registration right now. So if you register now or soon, you get some special pricing. So check it out. I will have a link to IEB in our show notes. And with that, no further ado, Nate, big welcome to the show.
Well,
Nate,
thank you very much.
If you would, please tell me and Tessa a little bit about yourself. How did you get into contracting and remodeling, and exactly what type of remodeling and contracting do you do? Because I mean, I know, but I mean, tell us about all the high-end stuff you're working on.
Well, that sounds great. No, I want to first thank you for always being available for me and being able to bounce ideas off of things I've run into a few times where I've either given you a call personally to get some insight, whether it's like frost or mold inside some plastic in a basement, unfinished basement, or we have like heat loss in a house and we're trying to figure out where the ice dam is. You've sent guys out for that. And then also you've helped my son out with his duplex that we purchased last year. And it was amazing because there was only one red flag item on the entire duplex, which is like amazing from what I can understand.
That is a really, really good duplex.
Right. It's very good duplex. So
yes,
I appreciate your help. So I figured I'd give you a plug here first before I get into what we're doing.
You know, I love talking houses.
Oh, no, so do I. So yeah. So kind of my background. I probably was it 2000? No, actually it was 97. I got into the building industry out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, as a laborer. I fell in love with it. It was like we were building these huge log shacks for some important person that I don't remember who. I pretty much just shoveled snow, but it was the best experience of my life. And I realized that that's what I wanted to do with because I always liked creating things. Played with Legos as a kid, kind of always wanted to do stuff like that. Actually went to Hennepin, came back to Minnesota, went to Hennepin Tech for 2 years. Kind of got my diploma over there. I think now it's a certificate now. You got a question?
Okay. In what?
At Hennepin Tech? In carpentry, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had a carpentry program over there. And then I worked with my uncles that were doing remodels from like our our own foundations to framing to roofing to siding, windows, tile work. We had our own floor. We did our own cabinetry shop. It was a really great experience to get the hands-on experience to like understand how things go together. And now I can sit at my desk and estimate a project or talk to somebody and kind of can see through the wall from behind my desk. I can know what people are talking about based on the age of the house, where is it located in the city, like what's the I can understand the layout of it without even really going to take a look at it. And it's been very helpful from a very basic level. And then was it 2009 I got laid off when our work kind of just like slowed down, and we were finishing up a large project, and one of my uncles was dying at that time, so we kind of just the whole company kind of split apart at that point in time. And I started doing like what I knew how to do was like handyman work, like I knew how to do drywall work, I knew how to do painting, I knew how to do anything because we were basically handyman, hands-on experience. And then I started picking up larger projects and kind of, picked up a bathroom or two. And we started picking up kitchens. It's been a real slow growth through this whole period of time for the last 15 years. And almost going to be 16 here coming March. So it's been a bumpy road, as ownership can be. And then over the last few years, we've been really dialing in our pre-construction phases of things and making sure that we get everything right. This year, I brought on my first project manager, and it's been one of those experiences where I wish I would have done it 5 years ago, but we were at the right place at the right time, and it took me probably 5 months to interview different individuals. I had a recruiter help me kind of find the right thing with doing assessments because I was looking for somebody very specific for what I was needing. And then Peter came on board, and Peter's been a huge, huge asset for me. He loves numbers, which is something I don't like. So it kind of fills in a big gap for me. And right now I've got about 100% of all of production off of my plate. So I don't have to deal with any project management, any sort of technical things. I don't have to drop off trailers anymore. I don't have to bring materials. It's already been taken care of through Peter and Ethan, my job site super. So
high five.
I know.
That is fantastic.
It's taken me, since I've decided about 8 years ago, I decided that I was going to be the owner. So it's taken me about 8 years to get out of like the technical side of things, out of project management, and being, essentially the visionary for the company and doing sales, marketing, and visionary type roles.
So what happened 8 years ago?
Well, I had very poor contracts at that point in time, not knowing what I didn't know. I had a lawsuit on my hands where somebody stopped paying me, and I was in a hard spot. Like, it's just not a good spot for me to be in. But usually out of hard times, good things come. So I hired a consultant who was a retiring contractor. Basically taught me how to do a sales process, how to do job costing, how to get my bookkeeping right, how to get my estimates right, how to, manage budgets, just kind of teach me how to be an owner.
All the business side of this.
The business side of things. Because, when you're in the field, you're like, oh, I know how to do all this. But it's a whole other beast. So Terry Strike was Silver Mark Builders or Remodelers at that point in time, doing design build. Basically taught me the design build process and kind of showed me how to get people signed up under a feasibility agreement to see if it's a good fit, and then work through pre-construction, where we make all the selections and make sure that we get everything right before we start. And then basically production should go relatively smoothly if you did all your stuff up front. Like to say that, if we know what all the bombs are going to go off in the construction process, we might as well diffuse as many as we can before we get into it. because there's
Yeah.
always something that's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
So you can plan for all those things to go right. And when things don't go right, it's a lot easier to adjust instead of putting hurdles in our way.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Nate, I gotta ask: have you ever read the book The E-Myth?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. You kind of
It
caught
sounds
some
like,
of those inferences.
yeah, it just sounds like you could be a case study for that book. I
Right.
mean, it just sounds so perfect. Tessa, have you read that one?
No, I haven't. What's it about?
Okay. Well, it's the E stands for entrepreneur in the E myth, and the myth is that if you are a good, and I'm being specific to Nate's case, but the myth is that if you're a good carpenter, you will be a good general contractor and a good business owner. I mean, if you know how to make this bathroom beautiful, you should go into business on your own and you should do it yourself. That's the myth. That's the great American myth. If you're really good at something, you should go out on your own and do it. And it's a myth. It doesn't mean you're going to be a
Very
good
different
business
skills.
owner. It's
Yeah.
a totally different thing to be a
Yeah.
good business owner, and it follows this woman along her story of where she's a great baker, and then she owns a bakery. She opens a bakery shop, and all the heartache she goes through, and she ends up getting all these systems in place to actually turn it into a good business where she's not working 16 hours a day and pulling her hair out. And it sounds like that was almost exactly Nate's journey too.
Right. I went back and forth, as the story goes. Sometimes you have somebody there that's going to help you kind of advance, and that person steps away, so you get to step back into the role of the technician and doing the thing. So just kind of been this bump, and then as we make the steps to kind of fill in the spots where, having the right people around you does
so crucial.
Yep.
So the name of your company, let's just cover that real quickly. Scapar Design Build. Where does that come from? I always want to call you Nate Scapar. I always want to say, I always correct myself in my head. It seems like that should be your last name. Tell us, what is it?
So as we were like rebranding, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, we were talking about kind of like, how do we find a unique name that kind of like encapsulates what we're doing? So we were looking through Swedish names and different words and different things like this, and some Norwegian names that kind of like translate together. We had come up with Skaper Craft, but it became really long and it just became hard for people to get their mind around it. So it meant to create, but Skaper means creative. So it turned from a verb to an adverb or adjective or whatever the technical grammar
Whatever
terms
you
are.
tell me, I'll believe you.
Yeah, I'm not a grammar person, so it means creative instead of to create.
Okay, got it. And where do you end up, or where does one end up changing from calling themselves a general contractor to a design build contractor? What's the differentiation there?
Yeah, that's a good question. A contractor will sometimes, take like, okay, here's like, maybe why don't we just talk about the avenue of the client, so sometimes the client will go directly to an architect or a designer to get a design and then take their design to multiple different contractors to bid on that project, to kind of figure out like what the project would cost. They're trying to determine trust. They're trying to figure out who they want to work with. And I find that, sometimes that works well for some people. We've classified this as a design build contractor, or us as a design build contractor, because I feel like the clients get the best out of everything because we show up as a team, so, since I'm the general contractor, my project manager knows numbers, my designers or architects get involved with us right off the bat. So we have our initial site visit with all parties involved. And so that the conversation doesn't have to be repeated back to somebody. If somebody picks up on a different like minutia of what somebody said. We can all be there to hear what the client has to say so that we can give them the best results.
Okay.
We often talk about like what their wishes are, kind of what their level of investment would be, so that we're not designing something that isn't obtainable. Because a lot of times that if an architect comes in without themselves, they don't necessarily understand all of the level of investment or the budgets that these projects are going to come in at. So they could, design $1 million project and they want to spend $600,000. So having the general contractor involved early to understand what the numbers are, what the budgets are, the level of investment is, then we can design around that budget. And if it can flex or a little bit, then maybe, hey, if you wanted to go this level, we could add this in. If we decided like, hey, that's a little bit too far, we could take this piece out. And then it's a real collaborative effort from the get-go. And I feel like there's a couple of reasons that we like to do it is that I can be in control of how the whole process goes, which is great.
Yeah.
But then we combine the best value for people is really what it comes down to is like, if we did this, this means this. If we didn't do this, we could do this instead. And it still gives you the same effect that if we went to this next level. So we do a lot of value engineering for contractor or for clients as well. So,
can we just pause on that for a quick second?
Yeah.
You give me an example.
Right. Okay. So for example, say we're doing a kitchen and they want to take this wall out and blow it out into the rest of the space. But if we take the wall out, excuse me, to the floor or to the ceiling, that means we have to get into the entire ceiling and patch in, or if we have to get into the floor, then we have to do the entire floor. So if we just said, hey, what if we just cut an opening in the wall, then we don't have to deal with these two other pieces, and that may save you $20,000 or $30,000.
Sure. Okay.
So
gotcha.
Or if you took your existing space and moved this wall to this spot and you didn't have to add on to the house, maybe you get what you want without having to put an addition on your home.
Sure.
So there's a lot of different ways that we can add to that. Like, could be equipment, it could be on-demand water heaters, or say, what if we don't do this for now, and then you can put this into the future? You could add this, 75-gallon water heater in later, those types of things.
Gotcha. Now you're talking about like replacing water heaters. How big of a job do you do? I mean, what's the scope of your work when it comes to a huge remodel? Like, let me change my question. What's the biggest remodel you've ever done, Nate?
We finished up one this summer that we started last fall that was in Rosemount. That would hovered like right around 1.4 million.
That's a big one.
It was. So they were, what the scenario on that one is they were trying to, they've got about 3 or 4 acres, 3.5 acres out in Rosemount, and the neighborhood has houses that are in the area that are probably similar in acreages at like 4,500 square feet. Their home was at 3,300 square feet. So they wanted to increase their square footages to kind of be in that same category. So we needed to increase
the neighbors. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so to get the comps in the neighborhood to match up with what the neighbors were doing, they needed to increase square footages. So we added on 2 additions, or one over an existing area, and then bumped out the back of the house for a new kitchen and essentially another ensuite in the basement. And then we remodeled the entire house as we were there. So
wow.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was kind of we like a couple of those a year, but that's not our bread and butter. Our bread and butter is in the ranges of like $200,000 to $600,000 projects. They, essentially kitchens, multi-level projects, maybe an addition in there too as well.
Okay.
But they kind of, I like them because there's daylight at the end of them. It's like, okay, we can plan this. It's 4 months. We can get through this. It's a little more straightforward than a larger project. But
sure.
um,
And then what about on the other end of the spectrum? What's the smallest project you'd consider doing today? Like a bathroom
right.
remodel?
Yeah, we will do bathroom remodels for individuals. Generally, they're primary en suites, so it's usually like a primary bathroom plus the closet plus the bedroom, and then maybe some stuff in the hallway. That's kind of generally where we go with those bathrooms.
Okay.
In and out bathrooms are kind of getting hard for us to do at a price point that people can accept. They're By the time we get every trade in and we have our project management fees and our markup on things, bathrooms become pretty expensive for people.
Sure.
I mean,
what's the average cost for a bathroom remodel these days for standard bathroom?
Well,
And kitchens too. I'm curious. Yeah. I mean, I know you're
well,
kind of doing higher end and
yeah,
let's say range. What's an average range?
right. I mean, so I think, if you were to find somebody that could do your entire bathroom, basically a one-man show that could demo it, take it out, put it back together, you should be able to find somebody that's probably in the 30 to 35 range, maybe 40 range.
Okay.
I would say for us starting a bathroom, we're probably like 60,000.
Okay.
But generally we're picking higher finishes, and then we have a great tile contractor. We have a great painter.
yeah,
We're usually doing a custom cabinetry.
it's high end.
So
You're getting a plumber in there to do all the plumbing fixtures, an electrician to do all that stuff. You're getting all the different trades versus one person doing everything.
Primary bathrooms or primary en suites are kind of in that like 125 to 175 range, depending on what people do, because they do a closet system, or if they do custom closets, or the tile work, they're moving some plumbing, they're changing the layout of the plumbing stuff. It's kind of like we find the best layout that works well for the space. Maybe take into consideration where the toilet flange is, and maybe incorporate, instead of moving all that stuff, maybe we keep it there. Or if it just makes sense to move it all around, then we can do that too as well.
Sure. Okay.
Now, you mentioned a few things earlier that you've called Reuben about, like determining why a house has ice dams and how to fix it, and some other like building performance things. So it sounds like you're a little bit different than your standard contractor or design build firm, because you're thinking about these other building performance issues. So I'm just curious if you could talk a little bit more about that, and how building performance is integrated into your business, and if it is at all.
Sure. I mean, I did watch one of your other previous podcasts with was it last week? I think it was, with the guy out in Colorado that was doing these high tech homes, or and like net zero homes or something. They were trying to get to net zero homes.
We had Gene Myers on. He's a contractor in Colorado. Maybe it was him.
That's who it was. Yeah.
Okay.
We're not doing much like that, but we are taking into consideration, like, how do we, I mean, we do a lot of remodels, so some of it's like the building envelope is only like a portion of what we do, because we're only touching part of the house. But we've been doing, a lot of spray foam, in older houses, because we have 2x4 walls. We want to get our value up higher without adding, or shrinking the room size down. We'll just spray foam the exterior walls to kind of keep the space that we're working in contained.
Sure.
Also, and if we're doing basements, or if we're doing like, even a kitchen, we're basically tearing everything out of the kitchen so that we can spray foam the rim, so that the floor system isn't cold. My electrician likes it anyway, because he gets to do whatever he wants, and he doesn't have to punch holes. So
of course,
yeah. So I think the added benefit to what we do, is the spray foaming applications for exterior walls, and then also energy walls in the basement. So we're spray foaming the exterior block walls down to either the drain tile or the plate, and we try to encapsulate the whole outside perimeter of what we're doing in the basements. And it's not technically a thing, but spray foam does keep water from coming through it, so it does push it to the drain tile if there's a rearing tile down there. So
Mm.
it's kind of an added benefit that kind of keeps the moisture out of the walls as well.
Sure.
Mhm. So do you ever have any situations with clients, if you come in, you do a big remodel and you open up walls and let's say you do kitchens and bathrooms and
Mhm.
maybe now 50% of the house is is more airtight and better insulated, and it changes kind of how the house behaves, and maybe they're noticing like more moisture in their home than they used to before, or staleness of
Right.
air. Do you think about those things when you're remodeling, and do you talk about ventilation and mechanical ventilation and things like that when you're dealing with big remodels?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, it comes into play. I mean, most of the time, if we're doing a large remodel, most of the systems are getting replaced at that point in time.
Mhm.
Recently, we had a project in Golden Valley that they had the basement zoned and differently, and it was all these goofy soffits and all these things that were going on with it, and the temperature lower and upper were totally wrong. It was like the upstairs was cold, the basement was hot. So basically what we did is we switched it all back to a single zone and used the
Hmm.
Nest, thermostat, I think it was, and they could set the fan to run more regularly or like on a timer so it wouldn't go off right away. The zone or the fan would stay on for a period of time to regulate the temperature between the upstairs and the downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So it would still suck in the cold air and the warm air from the basement, and it would mix it all together. So
Mhm.
simple little solution by just having like a fan run for another, 25% or 30. And they kind of
Mhm.
dialed that back and forth, and that really made their house a whole lot more comfortable. Like,
Mhm.
so for the
Yeah,
comfort level, yeah.
I'm kind of curious too. Like, do you get clients that are concerned about like the health, their indoor environment as well, or mold, or what are some of the big concerns you get from people about their house when you're doing, or are they solely focused on kind of just the cosmetics and the updating?
Yeah, I would say most of my clients don't bring that up. I mean, I think, we fix a lot of the issues. I mean, obviously if there's mold in the
Yeah.
house, we deal with the mold. I mean,
Or
um,
comfort, like you were saying, where there's all these
yeah,
different temperatures.
yeah. I mean, we're usually trying to solve a problem. A lot of it's aesthetics, a lot of it's layout. Along the
Mhm.
way, we come across issues that we deal with. Say a basement block wall in the corner didn't have the downspout on it for the last 20 years and it's just kind of dribbling in for a period of time. Um,
Yeah.
and that, we take care of those issues. So
Yeah.
most of the time, I mean, I've got a pretty good nose for mold and mildew in a house. Like as soon as I walk into a house, I can tell if there's mildew in the house. I get
Mm.
tingly in the back of my sinuses almost immediately. So I can
Yeah.
tell if something's going on like that. And most of the time when we take it all out and put it all back, we solve the issue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Where do you see the worst mold issues in these houses that you're working in the Twin Cities, and what vintage and where?
Oh, I would probably say in houses that are built in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I mean,
Okay.
I've got a 1920s house and I've got no concern about mold in my house. Like it breathes, it's a little bit drafty, it's not very energy efficient, but I'm not worried about mold in my house.
It's durable. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah,
Yep.
anytime. I mean, there was that whole period of time where the building envelope was button it up, button it up, button it up. When you know we had, I mean, I built them. We had a vapor barrier on the block wall, and then we put our insulation, and then we put a
Mm.
vapor barrier on the inside. And it's like, well, you have 2 layers of plastic surrounding insulation, and you can't keep moisture out of that space because you're punching holes in
Mm-mm.
it and you got
Yeah.
electrical, like it's just filled with grossness. So I would say those houses are in need of some work.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. I was just talking with a client the other day who basically he's a real estate agent, and he's helping sell a house of someone who lives in a suburb in the Twin Cities area, and it's an older house, and it's Tudor style. It's got steep roofs, and it's got a lot of like kind of side attic spaces, and inaccessible slants and that sort of thing, with kind of your typical story and a half. And when they went to sell it, the city inspector required that they put a vapor barrier on the backside of the insulation in the side attic space. So if you can picture it, it's like, they lath and plaster or drywall, and then insulation, and then poly vapor barrier, which in a cold climate like Minnesota, we should not be putting vapor barriers on the cold side of the wall because it can trap moisture.
What?
Yes. So
Wow,
this is a city inspector requiring this, and so anyways, this winter, as you know, it's already gotten cold, as you mentioned, Reuben. It's gotten down to 0 degrees. This homeowner has had a new problem show up that they've never had before, where they're starting to have, after a long cold spell and then it warmed up, all this water started dripping through their ceiling that had never been there before.
Yeah, thanks,
So
city inspector. Man.
right,
all I have to say is
right.
code book. Like, where does that say it?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's interesting, they upgraded the insulation in that side attic space. They took out the old thin kind of, I guess, paper backed stuff that had been there for a long time, and put new thicker fiberglass, and then they put the poly vapor barrier over it. And so I think the combination of higher R value equals colder attic space plus a poly vapor barrier on the outside is any moisture that does get through, or air that does leak through, is now condensing and then getting trapped and dripping down. So it's
Yeah, you
it's like
say
you try
any
to
of the.
yeah.
I'm going to correct you and say all of the.
Yeah. All of the
You know it's going to be a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the darndest thing, it's like they're trying to do what they need to do to sell the house and to make it quote better, by adding more insulation and doing these things, but they've now created other problems. So
Yeah. What a mess.
Inspectors don't know all the answers.
No.
yeah. Well, and to your point, like these newer houses are the ones that you typically see the mold issues in, like the 1990s, the 80s, 2000s, because we're trying to build them more airtight. But the same thing can happen when you take an old house that, like you said, breathes just fine. It's durable because we've got this heat and air, moving through the wall assembly, drying things out, and it's durable materials. But as soon as you start taking that old house and changing it and adding spray foam or adding vapor barriers, then you really change the variables and the dynamics and increase potential risk for moisture.
Right.
Yeah. So Nate, oh my gosh, I just looked at the time. Holy cow, where does it go?
Flies.
I want to ask you what's are you doing that's unique? What sets you apart? What kind of cool stuff are you personally doing with your business that most other contractors aren't?
Right. So I think what happens a lot of times is contractors need to get projects started because they need the cash flow or to keep guys going or keep things moving along. Especially in our medium or smaller projects, we've decided that, or a lot of contractors have just enough to start. So they have like, okay, the general idea, let's get into this and we'll figure this out. And it's basically reacting through the whole entire project. What we like to do is we like to call it nail the handoff. So from our pre-construction period of time where we do a lot of our heavy lifting, almost all of the planning, everything goes into pre-construction. So that may take 2 months, that may take 6 months, that might take 8 months, maybe even a year to get through all of those, upfront things so that when we do get into production, our production just goes straight through and our schedule stays on track. Our budget stayed in par with what we had originally agreed to. And it's basically clients are very happy with how things go. Might be a little bit more expensive than somebody else, but client satisfaction is much greater for what we do. So from from a standpoint of processes, I think we do things better than the majority. And I think the bar is pretty low for a lot of contractors. I mean, there's a lot of good contractors out there. I'm not cutting anybody down. I think but the bar is pretty low for contractors, generally speaking. And I think, we're set apart from a good portion of those because we just spend a lot of time in our pre-construction phase, making sure, understanding what the client wants, giving some value engineering. And then I want to know every paint color before we start. I want to know hardware. I want to know what we're doing so that we can put a final number to it so that they know what they're going to get. We know what we're going to charge. We know what we're going to make on it. And we can put a schedule together based on any pinch points that we might have found along the way of like, okay, well, they can't get this material until now. We'll design the schedule around that contractor, that delivery, all those types of things so that when we get into production, it's basically smooth sailing through the project.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So
there's so much planning involved in that. I just, as you're talking and thinking about these multi-million-dollar remodels, just how the level of detail that you have to keep track of.
Right.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a lot more planning that goes into it. I mean, that's the biggest thing, and making sure that people don't have these surprises and it gets done on time. I mean, I've heard it's one of the biggest complaints people have with general contractors is unexpected additional costs and projects going way over time. I mean, over budget and over time.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes that. Nobody likes having that at the end of a project going, okay, well, you owe me $40,000 more and I'm already late on the deliverables. It's like, it's not a very good place to be in.
Yeah.
It seems like a great opportunity for AI to step in and help make things more efficient and figure out all these little details. Is that something you see being integrated in your business?
Yeah.
Sort of scheduling tools, management tools, estimating.
Right. There's a few tools we're using right now. I mean, obviously we have our digital note taker that's on just about every Zoom call we do. So the clients get a recap. I think we use Fathom for that. Works really well. I think it gets about 95% of the time right. It's amazing how that tool works. It gathers all the conversations and puts it together succinctly within seconds. We are still using a software program that we're hanging on to for the moment, but we're waiting for the next opportunity for AI to kind of pick up where we need to be at a price point that we want to move over to. Right now, we have a tool called Company Cam that we're using for our team members to be on. Very helpful. It gives like AI walkthrough notes, you can take photos, kind of keeps track of everything so that, everybody's on the same page. So a job site super can take, a conversation, plug in the notes, take a photo, project manager can see what that is. The marketing team can use it for marketing. So the software program is the next piece of this, but we're waiting for the next kind of the drop down in price and getting it kind of like in the right spot for us.
Say in the next year or two, probably, it sounds like, because it's changing so quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's incredible and a little scary, but exciting too.
Yeah, I mean, we're anxiously waiting for the next, like, finding the right one for us. I think we've got a system right now that works really well. So it's like hard to, I mean, we can hit click, hit template, hit paste, change a few words, and there we go. So it's working for us well now, but I think there's a next opportunity coming up here in the next year that I think will probably make the switch. But changing systems takes a lot of effort.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Nate, we're almost out of time, but I did want to ask you if you're comfortable answering this one. Okay. I've shared, probably dozens of super stupid things that I've done over the past couple of decades. Some of the biggest mistakes I've made, and the whole point is for other people to learn from it and not make the same mistakes. I tell all my guys in training, you're welcome to make new mistakes, but just don't make the same ones that I've made. Learn from my mistakes. Wondering if there's any, like, if there's a big one that you've made, and we could even rephrase it, not say a mistake, just just a great learning experience that you've had, where you said, I'm going to do things totally different this way. I wonder if there's one that comes to mind that you'd want to share with us.
No, 100%. 100%. I think I've already alluded to this. I had a lawsuit in 2016 that took me about a year and a half and took up a ton of my time. And I would say that my contracts were just terrible. And the attorney that I had hired to help me didn't look at my lien waiver at the beginning, or my lien notice at the beginning. It was the old lien notice from the state of Minnesota. So having the right lien waiver notice on your contracts and getting your contracts dialed in, I would say, is probably the biggest thing that came out of that bad experience. So getting that dialed in, finding a good lawyer to help you write that up, I think protects yourself from the what ifs. I mean, I was going on pretty much handshake deals and for a long period of time, and that really just had to stop. Then the Lord gave me the opportunity to get that fixed.
That's a good way of putting it.
Looking at it.
Right.
Love it. Well, Nate, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they reach out to you?
That's great. No, you can either reach out to me either through the website at www.scapar.net.
And spell that for us.
It's skapar.net.
Okay.
And then you could either get a hold of me at that's probably the best place to get a hold of me at.
Okay.
So
all right. You got the contact us now button, and you actually see the stuff that comes in. I'm always leery of those contact now buttons. I'm like, where's this going?
Yeah, it goes to my notifications, and I get a notification that something came in. So if somebody wants to reach out to my phone, that'd be fine too, at 952-250-2300. And we'd love to have a conversation.
Cool. And is there anything I forgot to ask you about? Anything you wanted to talk about before we wrap today?
No, that sounds great. No, I appreciate your time, Tessa and Reuben. It's always great. I mean, 45 minutes or 50 minutes goes by pretty quick, doesn't it?
It does. It's crazy. Tessa, anything else you wanted to cover that I forgot to bring up?
I don't think so. Reuben, you did well on all those cold meds. Congratulations. You made it through the podcast.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hit end podcast. I'm gonna go take a nap, I think. We'll see.
That sounds good.
All right. Well, Nate, thank you so much for coming on. About time we had you on the show. Right. Tessa, great to see you. And for the listeners, if you got questions for me or Tessa, please reach out. We read all the emails. We'd love to hear from you. It's podcast@structuretech.com, and we will catch you next time. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.